How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, girl?
I'm good.
You settling in?
You?
I like your shades.
Do you recognize my outfit?
Is this Chaos Goblin merch?
Well, yes, I'm wearing Chaos Goblin sweats, but I'm actually wearing your shirt.
Crazy you'd say that. I have been looking for this shirt for months. How long have you had it?
I'll be honest, I don't know.
I thought I lost it.
I found it this morning. You know when you find something and you're like, I don't know what this is. And I picked it up and I'm like, wow. And I put it on. I didn't recognize it
Isn't it the best?
And I was like, what a great top. And I was like, go me. Look at me, thinking ahead. So I put this little number on. And I was like, I'm really learning how to shop.
Because
I said, one thing about me, I'm figuring this shit out.
I can't
And then I puttered around as one does. And I keep catching myself in the mirror. And I'm like, I blacked out when I bought this. I don't remember getting it. And then I thought, it's a little snug. This is Tiffany's.
I have been looking for this shirt for months.
How come you didn't say anything when you walked in the studio?
I didn't even realize. I mean, there was something off. I mean, by off, I mean on. You look great. It looks fabulous.
Thanks. I'm going to keep it.
It's from Zara.
Is it?
It is. And I went back to Zara when I thought I lost it to see if they would have any more. They don't.
Oh.
But I may be requesting that back.
Snooze, you lose.
Oh.
Pirate's code. Fall behind, left behind.
Fall behind. What is it?
Fall behind, left behind.
Fall behind, left
Pirate's
behind.
code. Fall behind, left behind.
What's the other one that they say?
Parlay.
Parlay. Yes.
Parlay. What?
Invoking parlay.
First of all, I know what parlay is. Parlay, I want to speak to your captain. First of all, okay, I'm done. I can literally quote Pirate Figure and top to bottom. But only
What's
the
your
first
favorite
movie.
one?
The first one.
Gonna say,
I love the first one.
I also do like At World's End. That one's a good one.
It started to get confusing to me.
I like them. The more Disney goes in on a plot, the more I'm locked.
Really?
Oh my God, I love when Disney starts to get confusing. Prince of Persia Sands of Time. Y'all ever seen that one? That is my movie.
By the way, y'all, Olivia's in the studio. She's in the back. You can hear her laugh. That's our girl, Olivia. She's joining today.
She is the best laugh.
So the Prince of Persia, that was the most awful film.
Girl, watched a couple nights ago. Prince of Persia Sands of Time is my film. Prince Destin. They were messy for casting Jake Gyllenhaal as a Persian man.
I know.
That's where they went wrong.
And his hair blowing in the wind.
Correct. I'm like, no, they know that is the most Anglo man available, and they chose him.
Thank you, God.
But you know what? He did look good.
He did look good. I don't really get starstruck, and neither do you. Part of it, I think, is living in New York. I've lived in New York 8 years. You about the same, maybe longer?
Yeah, 6 years.
6 years. So we talk about this a lot. Part of it is even before we were in the entertainment industry and going to events in which you would expect famous people to be there.
Yeah.
I think living in New York, similar to maybe if you live in LA, you just have a lot of exposure to famous people being amongst you. And so I think that plays a huge role of that. But I also think it's kind of we're hardwired for it.
I think so.
We've talked a lot about
clout chasers in any variety. So
no.
where I like the base emotion of getting excited when meeting a famous person is that you're meeting someone who's like cooler than you or has lived a different life than you have lived, and it's exciting. But we aren't moved by those emotions when meeting people because people are people, right? Like
no, I will say I have had a couple, and it is different when I meet someone who has meant a lot to me
emotionally.
Yeah. So I will get emotional because I'm like, oh, how lucky am I that I get to tell you in this moment
how much you mean to me.
I got emotional when I met Vanessa Williams because I was Miss New York at the time. She was a Miss New York, and she was a huge reason why I she was my screensaver for a long time when I was first competing because. Especially when I was younger, she was one of, at the time, she's one of the few Black Miss Americas. So like this meant a lot to me. But even when I met Vanessa, I was like, oh my God, this means a lot to me. I certainly like teared up a little, like, oh, I'm so happy to meet you.
Yeah.
But and Vanessa was cool. She touched my arm and she went, don't cry. And I went, got it, diva. So glad to meet you. What an honor. And then, and then we kept it stepping and I pulled it together and that was cool. So I think it's one thing to meet somebody who's meant a lot to you, but I will say there's a lot of folks that we've met or see, and they don't care who it is that they're meeting. If there's a famous person in the room that's famous in any capacity to anyone, they just want to be slide next to him.
Correct.
That I don't rock with.
No, I don't rock with that either. I will say, like, who was my one person? Johnny Gill. When we met Johnny Gill, I was starstruck, like unexpectedly starstruck.
Really?
Oh my God. Yes, Johnny Gill is such a celebrity in my house. New edition, all of it. I could not believe how nice he was to us. And
He was so sweet.
We love Johnny. We always want to call him on the show.
Let's call him.
Is it the time?
Well, let's just see if he answers. I don't think he'd get mad at me for calling him.
I mean, he straight up told you to call him. So
he did.
I wonder.
Hold on.
Well, while she does that, we met Johnny doing a dance battle, and he unexpectedly was in the city and wanted to film one in person with us. So we were absolutely honored, of course. The biggest uncle in the best way. Like, he was just a complete sweet, sweet man. I'm scared.
I know. This is probably inappropriate.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing, Johnny?
I'm good. How's it going?
I'm good. Listen, so we're shooting the podcast, me and Tiffany, and we're telling stories about how lovely you are. And we thought, let's just see if he answers if we call. How you doing?
I am good. What have you guys been up to?
Nothing.
Oh,
We're just
just
filming the
hanging out.
podcast, and now I've got you on the phone. I'm so excited. Do you have 1 minute? Can I get 60 seconds?
Sure.
Yay!
That's so cool. Okay, what's one question I want to ask Johnny Gill?
Oh my God, so many.
I have one. We're talking about fame on today's episode. Here's what I want to ask you. What was a moment you had in your career where you thought, wow, I made it. I really made it. Have you had that moment?
Have I had that moment? Yeah, I did actually. Early on in my career.
What happened?
I got my first check.
Period.
And I bought me a gold nugget watch, a ring,
Yep.
and a bracelet. And I thought, oh shucks, I made it, and couldn't nobody tell me nothing.
Oh. Do
That-
you still have those
We don't
pieces?
have to wear the ring and the watch and the nugget watch is that because I had no clue. But that was a time where I thought, oh yeah, I'm in there.
You're in there.
That's so sweet.
That's so sweet. Do you still have those pieces of jewelry?
No, I don't know what the hell happened.
Oh, you just made this week's episode so good. Thank you so
I
much.
would love to put it out there. If anybody finds a gold nugget watch and
Somebody finds
and the
it.
necklace, I would really like it back.
Y'all heard it here first.
So y'all
Please
heard it here
give
first.
Unc his jewelry back.
Give Mr. Johnny Gill, the legend himself,
Please.
his stuff back. Please don't pawn it. Please don't pawn it.
Oh, congratulations! You guys just keep pushing and moving forward, and so proud of you.
Oh, you are the best.
So sweet.
You really are, Uncle. Thank you so
Truly.
much. The legend,
You're
the
so
icon,
welcome.
Johnny Gill. It's really surreal. This is my I made it moment.
I mean, crazy.
my I made it moment right now is that I can call Johnny Gill on the phone. That's crazy.
Anytime.
Oh,
Well, thank you. I
so
hope
good
you
to
have,
heir from you.
We hope you have a beautiful day, and thank you for giving us a little snippet on our show today.
You're so welcome and congrats.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, all right, bye.
I can die happily.
Why did I
need
want to
y'all
say I
know.
love you? Bye.
Give me
So
that.
bad, and I was like,
Love you,
stop!
bye.
Don't say I love you. Bye.
Love
I
you, bye.
do love him though.
That's insanely crazy in full circle.
Yeah.
Cuckoo bananas.
And
in
why is he
fact.
the sweetest? He's the sweetest person.
So sweet. Those are the people I get starstruck over meeting that are just cool. No, like he's been a celebrity longer than he hasn't been a celebrity. So
Yeah.
he has no reason to be just kind and sweet and
this all
open
comes
and
from us
warm.
doing a dance battle video to his song "I Rub You the
Rub
Right
you the
Way."
right way. A cookout
And-
classic.
And it's just crazy. And it's funny. I have a couple numbers on my phone that I wouldn't like. They're notable individuals
Yeah.
who I wouldn't dare name drop or call because it's just like would not be appropriate. But
No.
he is someone who has made himself so available and so he's been
Yeah.
so kind to us.
Time and time again.
Just like literally, because we asked once, like, could we just give you a call? And he was like, anytime. He's like, call me anytime. So that was kind of cool.
I'm shook. That is the sweetest thing that's ever happened to us. My God. We love you, Johnny.
I hope your mom and dad. I feel like your mom and dad would watch this.
They
episode.
will fall out. You know what? I will say the other person that I got starstruck when we met was Joe. But I feel like musicians are the people I get
'Cause you care
starstruck
so
over.
much about
I love
music.
music and I love black music. I love music created by black people.
But and you want music has really shaped you.
yeah.
And
And,
that's,
yeah.
we were talking about that though, right? It's a little different when you're meeting somebody who has really shaped you.
Yeah.
But I think star chasing and star chasers, which is, you'll be at a party for sure, or an after party or something. And somebody will walk in and I'll say, oh, that's so-and-so. And the person that's next to me goes, who? and I explain who they are, and like, oh, I have to go get a
And
picture with
suddenly
them.
they're gone.
Don't
to
do
go
that.
find them.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Just don't do that. I don't think it's in good taste.
No, it's not in good taste.
I try not to make big, broad statements like that, but I'm gonna say that's odd to
This is
me.
one that's a little odd because they're just people. I would like to know the psyche behind I would like to know the psyche behind someone who is emphatically excited to meet famous people no matter what.
No matter who they are.
Like what does your brain tell you in that moment? Why
Yeah.
is that important? No judgment. I'm just genuinely curious.
I am genuinely curious, and I think that it's an odd thing to me. I think that on top of that, again, we'll set up some parameters now. I'm not gonna pretend like there's like a upper 1% of people that are so famous they transcend time, like Michael Jackson, Beyonce. There you go.
Taylor Swift, if you're a Swiftie.
If you're a Swiftie, Taylor Swift is one of those people who I can understand. Anyone would be like, I can't believe that you just crossed my path, right? That's pretty crazy. But I will say, almost everybody else, and now you and I think I'm like a Z list. If I'm on the list at all, I'm X, Y, or Z.
No.
And I reckon that's all right. I'm not being modest.
I put you above K at the very least.
All right. So I'm a J list. I'm a J lister, you know? And then there's those A listers. But then everyone in between, it really just is like a cool little moment to have.
Yeah.
And what we talk a lot about that I think is really fascinating that I didn't have any concept of until I was in the entertainment industry is how subjective fame is. You can walk into a room, or someone can walk into a room, and someone will grab your arm and go, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's Jayla Bedodo. And she's huge in insert country. She's huge in this other country.
In Manolo.
Yeah. Black.
Exactly.
You say Manolo, did you?
Just to rhyme with
I wanted to be like, is
blow, Bedodo, whoever you say.
I was like, is Manolo a place?
Is Manolo a place? Manila is.
Manila is a place. Back to what we were saying.
Yeah.
In the Philippines. Anyways.
It feels like a grown man is taking a nap on me.
The dog is laying on Tiffany for our listeners at home.
He's
being a very good boy.
I almost had to get Winston today, but I said, no, I will pick him up later.
Oh,
it would have been too chaotic.
Bruce will sleep. Anyway, so I got to pull my glasses up. So, yeah, and that's really fascinating to me that someone can walk in and like, that's so-and-so from and she's huge here or she's huge in this community. Or to that person talking to me, she's huge to me.
Yeah.
And
subjective
like,
fame
cool.
was something I learned working in PR because depending upon the client, that person was either God or no one that we needed to care about. So event to event, room to room, we had to learn how to turn it on and find someone incredibly important in that moment because people in fashion and in entertainment spaces thrive off of feeling like a VIP. I think we were having this discussion yesterday.
That is so true. And how easily you can blunder something by, frankly, just not knowing who someone is.
Correct.
And they get offended because they can tell you don't know who they are.
Exactly. Which was the worst feeling being a junior
make this
publicist.
mistake
Oh
frequently.
my God.
Sorry to all the sports players I've ever met ever. Sports players, I think, are the worst about it.
Because they've got ego.
They want to know that you know who they are.
When, quite frankly, sports is so specific.
Website.
Like, why are you upset at me that I don't know that you're the third wide receiver in the Big Bang League?
Why do Severus Snape, wide receiver?
Wide receiver.
Me
Alabama.
and Tiffany were out one time at this bar, and the only indicator that they were sports players was these guys came up and they sat next to us and they were just built.
Massively huge.
And one of them was just dripped out in diamonds. I mean, top to bottom.
A tidal wave on his neck. Crazy.
An ice storm, if you will. It got cold when he entered the room.
A blizzard.
So, of course, Tiffany was like, clock.
We say all that to say,
Tiffany
I noticed.
But we weren't sure exactly who he was. I mean, maybe you did. Did you know his name? I didn't
I know who one of them was. I did not know who his buddy was. Yeah.
I had no clue. And also, when they sat next to us, it was too late for you to tell me who it was right
Correct.
then.
We were already in deep.
I had no idea. But I think as the night wore on, I remember we talked about it later, when one of them had gone to the bathroom, his friend had leaned over to me and been like, do you know who that is? In kind of like a joking way, like, do you not know who that is? And I turned to him and I was like, well, you didn't tell me his name. What am I supposed to do? Read your mind? Why am I in trouble? What did I do? And so this is something that I think is really odd because I will say, now granted, I'm a J-lister, but of course I don't walk into a room expecting anyone to know who I am. Ever. I mean, I don't, and I hope that I don't lose that.
Yeah.
I hope my career goes on. I hope that we both continue to be very successful. But I also hope that I never walk into a room just expecting someone to know who I am. Because like you said, like we've said, fame is subjective.
It's so subjective.
An A-lister to one may be a J-lister to another.
Stop calling yourself a J-lister.
You're the one who said it.
I said above K. That could very well be A. But let it be known.
Hey,
I think
man, it's something to work towards.
Oh, you're not a J-lister. And what is the list? That's my question. Who made the list?
Let me see it.
Where does the list live?
It's like the stock market. Where is it?
It's a great
Show it
query.
to me.
It's a great query. Yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
I'm sorry that we yell so much on this podcast.
because we really be hollering.
Because if you watch this before it,
Tracy's like, yeah,
Tracy's
me
like,
too,
sorry.
actually.
I'm so sorry to people.
Sorry.
This is, and people probably tune in because I know they like our voices.
Yeah.
And they're expecting us to talk throughout the podcast like this.
You know, we're sweet.
Do you want to try and do the podcast in these voices today?
At least for the next couple minutes.
Let's try.
trying.
I'm going to try and keep it to the NPR.
Yeah. This is
Anyways.
for all of our Delilah listeners. Did you listen to Delilah on
I
the
know
radio?
exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome to B972 WFM.
Okay, so
Smooth
boom.
Jazz. It's the quiet storm.
Oh, that was good.
Someone once, oh, wait, I have to get back in the voice. Someone once told me that I had a face for radio. I was very offended. They were calling me ugly.
Is that something Delilah said, or you're saying?
No,
right
not
now?
Delilah. Someone just once said it. You know, you have a really great face for radio. I was like, what?
That's a crazy
Isn't that
insult, especially since
crazy?
you're stunningly gorgeous.
It was from, this is a very off track story. You all right? You're gassy today.
I know.
You bitch.
You're
You're
gassy
gassy today. Anyway, I don't feel the need to tell the story. Point is, it was a middle school comment.
I certainly, when I go home, my family jokes. I don't know if I think it's a half joke, but half serious. When I get recognized in my hometown, that's always surreal. Like people being like, "Oh my God, Taryn, and I know you're from here," and I don't know who they are. Right? That's always really I'm like touched by because I'm like, "Oh, that's so cool that people back in West Seattle, in Seattle, like care that I'm from there."
Yeah.
It makes me feel like I made some people proud, and that feels really good.
It almost means more than being recognized
Yeah.
in LA or in New York or
Yeah.
in Paris.
And so and in front of my family always is really affirming because my family's like, wow, T's doing something. That's cool. Although my family's listening to this like, we don't think that. But being in your hometown is cool in that way. But so of course, sometimes in my family, that conversation comes up of like, not you being famous. And it's like, and I'm like, but I've met famous people.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm not famous because, I've been in the same room as J-Lo. That's famous.
Well, I beg the question, what will being famous feel like? Like, what's the threshold for you for fame?
That's why part of me is like, does it even exist?
Yeah. It's a quandary.
But no, just kidding. J-Lo knows she's famous. J-Lo wakes up in the morning and she goes,
I'm famous.
I'm famous. She wakes up in a cold sweat. I'm famous.
Plotting. The moment her eyes open, she's stressed. I hope that's not the
Waiting
case,
for
J-Lo.
Tonight slowly comes on in her surround sound.
And you know that's our song.
Waiting for tonight. Oh, when you will be here in my arms. Stephanie, bring me my hoops. Oh,
Such a bop.
dang it. We lost the quiet sound of the pod.
Oh, yeah, we're back.
Yeah, I think there are people like it would be almost annoying if they were like, oh, I'm not famous.
Ooh.
Like Oprah, that would be just annoying.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
A Kennedy. I am obsessed with the Kennedys.
You've said the Kennedys.
I reference the Kennedys a lot.
The Kennedys.
The Kennedys. I'm fascinated by American royalty. What can I say?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's a level of you're so famous that don't be humble.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
But then I think I'm still at the place where it would. Some people might go, yeah, you're famous, and other people might say that's ludicrous, and I understand that. So I don't deign to say, or is that the word I want to use? I don't.
That works also.
No, not deign. I don't.
Dare?
I don't presume.
Oh.
I don't presume to walk around being like, no, I'm famous. I think that I'm becoming more well known for what I do, and I'm grateful for that. And I think you are too.
Yeah.
Because it's so fun when people stop me and go, "Where's Tiffany?"
It's the biggest mind fuck for me these days. Because I'm private. So I'm like,
I know. You like to be in disguise.
I'm do. I'm very much given Taylor Swift showing up to her own concert in a laundry cart. Like, that's me walking down the street.
What did she do?
She shows up to the shows, like, before she goes on stage, she gets in a laundry cart so that people don't know that she's basically walking through the stadium to get to where she needs to be, to avoid the crowd as much as possible.
Quick query. If I was at a stadium and a random laundry cart was just
6'2" laundry cart
was just rolling towards the stage, I would be like, get that laundry cart!
Get her!
Taylor Swift is in it!
Well, the Swifties know now, so they see the cart and go cuckoo bananas. I was at the show.
A laundry cart!
I mean, I kid you not. Tati and I went to Taylor Swift's show last year, and we were sitting semi behind the stage. I mean, this is a whole topic to get into, that level of fame. But we were sitting behind the stage, basically. And when the cart comes up, the entire stadium, 70,000 people losing their minds over a laundry cart. I've never seen anything like it.
How did I miss this?
It was crazy.
How did I miss?
But I'm not calling them crazy. I don't want to offend the Swifties. But I don't want to come for y'all. Okay?
Listen to me. Me and Tiffany, we don't really listen to Taylor Swift. Listen. But
I do, though. That's the thing. I could pull up about 20 or so Taylor songs.
Olivia's making a face in the back of the set.
I'm going to pull them up. I listen to Taylor. I do. I'm not saying I'm a Taylor fan. Let's be clear.
Whoa,
I'm not saying I'm a Taylor fan.
It's one or the other, because now they're going to come and get you.
I disagree.
You cannot anger these people.
I can't. The fact of the matter is, I know some tunes. Had a good time at the concert. Okay? What can I say?
Sure. Okay.
But,
don't say but. That's it.
That's it. Period.
She liked it. You like it. I love it.
There's like a hard clip here. And we move on to the next topic to avoid.
Cut it here. There is no group of people I'm more frightened of.
No, the Beehive scares me. I'm scared of the Beehive.
Well, yeah.
The Beehive will come for your throat and your edges. Are you kidding?
You're right. Both.
Am I wrong?
Both fan groups are united. I would actually love to see a civil war between both fan bases. And I like both artists. Yeah. I love Beyonce. Okay. I love Beyonce.
I mean, and that's on period.
What do you want me to say? I love Beyonce.
Sorry,
and that's real. I love her. But I also, I would be interested if there was like a post-apocalyptic America and factions were organized by the Swifties and the Beyonce fans. And then there's a war over resources. You know, and then a lone laundry cart rolls across down the desert.
Did I tell you I just read a dystopian post-apocalyptic book where it was a romance novel, but it's called Swallow It Down, and it was set on a cruise ship. It was crazy. I ate every last word up. My girl Addison Kane, big shout out. I loved Swallow It Down. Waiting for book 2.
Why were they on a cruise ship?
And I still don't know why it was called Swallow It Down. But to make a very long...
You sure you don't know?
Well, yeah. Yeah, I guess I do know. But the cruise ship basically was the only thing that survived the nuclear fallout. And so the main man character was running this like alternative society on a cruise ship.
You know what? I know where she got the idea. Because many a time have I seen cruise ships and I'm thinking... If the new flood comes, these are basically our arcs.
It's crazy.
And they are huge. I don't even fully understand how they float.
They stress me out. Like cruise ships, the sheer size of a cruise ship stresses me out.
And I've never been on a cruise.
We have to go.
I want to go just for the shits and gigs.
We have to go.
I want to go on a cruise.
On a cruise.
Let's do a podcast on a cruise. Okay, are you listening? This is my one moment to plug.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone connected to Carnival? Who are they?
We would want to do Virgin.
Okay.
Because they don't allow kids.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or maybe we don't want to do that.
Well, no.
Do we have a good giggle time?
Would you have a good... No, kids would probably stop us from having a good giggly time. It makes me nervous because, like, around kids, I want to be able to, like, if something were to happen...
You want to be a safe person.
I want to step in.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel that I can do that if a kid is around, I'm not going to drink. Like, I might have a glass of wine, but I certainly wouldn't have more than one glass of wine because, like, there's a kid in the room.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's weird. I'm not a mom, so maybe when I become a mom, that will change, and I'll be more like, whatever. I don't know.
I agree.
So
I've never really drank around kids, now that I think about it.
Yeah, it feels wrong to drink around kids. But again, I'm sure there are lots of moms listening to this like, well, just wait till you have kids. Certainly, my mom had wine, and her friends had wine in front of us. Like, that wasn't weird.
Not at all.
Anyways, this is a crazy tangent for no
Don't know
reason
how we
at
got
all.
there, but we're going to bring it back.
We'll take a cruise. Why not?
Why
And you know
not?
what? Let's organize it so everybody knows what cruise you're going on so we can all cruise together.
Mm-hmm.
But I love when folks come up to me or us,
Mm-hmm.
both of us together. It is so affirming and so joyful when
It
somebody
is.
says, I just love your work and I love what you're doing. That is the most beautiful, exciting thing to me. I feel so lucky. I feel so honored.
And we always send each other text messages when it happens. Like, we call them our pat on the back moments, like God patting us on the back and saying good job.
Totally.
Or just feeling, like you said, affirming, just feeling very affirmed in what we're doing and where we're going. So we love when that happens.
So thank you so much. And if ever you're listening and you have stopped us or said hi, because a couple of you have told me that you love the pod, thank you so much. It makes my day every time. It makes me sad when someone messages me and they're like,
I saw you
and I didn't want to say hi because I didn't want to bother you.
Bother.
Yeah. Even if I could be incapacitated, strapped to a gurney, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm being resuscitated. God forbid. Knock on wood. I hope you come over and just say, best of luck.
I hope you pull through.
No, I don't mind. I think it's really, really great. But I think people are also so sweet when they message that because they're truly trying to be courteous.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I can understand. I'm the type of person who does, funnily enough, I'm saying come up to us, but I'm the type of person who does not go up to people.
Yeah.
And the 2 times that I did it, they were not fun experiences. And I was like, ow, girl.
You don't have to say the name.
I won't
don't
say the name.
But what was an experience you had where you came up to somebody and what didn't go well?
It happened twice, both times in my neighborhood, actually. So I follow influencers who make hyper curated lifestyle content. So they don't particularly make anything comedic or anything that leads you to believe that they would enjoy someone coming up to them. So I will give that preface. So I'm in my coffee shop, getting my little coffee, sun shining. It's a cute little day out. I look over my shoulder and I see an absolute diva. And I'm like, is that who I think it is? And it's exactly who I think it is. So I'm already gassed because I don't get starstruck, but I am like, okay, I admire her work so much.
Yeah,
like
you watch her all the time.
Watch her all the time.
Yeah.
Like content is very aspirational. So so at this point, I'm super jazzed. I'm excited. Her content is stuff that I enjoy, so I wanted to say something. And she was a Black woman, so I thought that we'd have like a little moment, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I go up to her and I'm like, hi, I am so sorry to bother you. I absolutely adore your content and I think you are fabulous. And I say her name and she has a foreign name. So I was like, okay, I know that I'm going to pronounce this properly because I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Say her name. She turns to me and is like, it's la 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 la, and pronounces her name. She corrects me, essentially.
Yeah.
Didn't say hi, didn't say anything. So I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Said it properly. And then I turned away, took my coffee, and walked out. And I was so disheartened because I'm like, no, not a sister, being mean in the moment. And I'm sure she's human, right? So maybe she had a day. Maybe she was sick and tired of hearing people mispronounce her name. Like, I will give her the absolute benefit of the doubt. But I will say it did make me cautious to not approach influencers in the wild.
I mean, frankly, you just made a mistake.
I just made a mistake.
And
one that I'm so embarrassed about.
Sure,
oh
but
my
that's
God.
also, that's human and it's okay you made a mistake.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you will never get that wrong again.
Absolutely not. I also unfollowed her. So,
well,
yeah, there was that.
I will say when I first...
Hope that doesn't make me sound salty, but...
No, I mean, it hurt your feelings. I will say when I first got started, I had a viral video and had made a TikTok like 24 hours before. Mm-hmm. So I didn't follow anyone. A lot of people thought I had a bot account. I didn't even have a profile photo. I was Tarantino 21 and it was just one video. So of course I started to build my page quickly. And the first advice that I got was start following people. It doesn't matter what their content is. Find some people that you like and start learning from them. Mm-hmm. And so there was a couple people. One of those people was Teffy, who I love. And Teffy, I've told you a million times, Teffy's my girl. That's like, that's my good
The queen
sis.
of 305.
And she is so good about being kind to people and giving people time. And when I first told her this, she just was really wonderful about it. So Teffy's not included in this. But there was another person who was in that group of people that I first kind of followed and wanted to get to know. Mm-hmm. Similar to you. She's not a comedian. I've actually found that comedians are always cool.
They are.
She's not a comedian. We both live in New York. And I was at a coffee shop. And I went in one day. And this is when she certainly, maybe she knows who I am now, but she certainly wouldn't have known who I was back then. Mm-hmm. And this was maybe, 3 years ago?
Okay.
3 years ago. I walked into the coffee shop and there she was. And I wasn't weird or anything, but she was with a friend and waiting for her coffee. And I just tapped her, like literally, it was a feather's touch, just touched her shoulder. And I waited, she turned. And I think she could tell from the look on my face. I remember, I'm gonna take my glasses off. She looks, and then her face kind of falls when she sees that I'm like smiling at her. And I said, hi, sorry. I'm Taryn, and I don't want to bother you while you're getting coffee. I just want to say I'm a new content creator. Looking back, I'm sure I sounded sort of this like a trope, sort of like I'm a budding content creator. I'm new at this, and I'm just getting started. And I just want to say that I'm really enjoying watching you on your career because you're really inspiring me a lot. And I really like your content. And the words kind of start to die on my tongue as I look at her, around me and look around and look at her friend. And what killed me is then I thought, you know what? She's an introvert. And I am not entitled to her time. I know that. I am not entitled to your time. You don't have to treat me any type of way. So I kind of start to back it up and be like, oh, I'm sorry. Sorry to bother you. And she goes, and she doesn't say anything. She just goes, thank you. And I said, yeah. And as I step back, she looks and her friend laughs under her hand and laughs. I felt that she was laughing at me, but in the moment, looking back, maybe they're both really shy and they don't know how to handle a situation. I know some people laugh when they're nervous.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, I want to be really charitable right now. I'm just saying how it made me feel.
Yeah. I was doing the same thing. I'm like, she had a bad day. No,
yeah.
she just be mean. Or maybe not.
Or maybe not.
Yeah.
But the impact was I blushed. I was so embarrassed. And it was more so that she looked at her friend and they had this exchange where it was like that. That woke the dog up. It's okay, buddy. Guard dog on 20. I'm
screaming. More comfortable when
they kind of had this. They kind of
will
had
he
this
be
exchange.
okay if I like move his neck back?
Move him. Oh yeah. Do you want to move him back to where it's more comfortable?
Yeah, because he's a bony boy. Come this way, buddy.
Ow. Come on. He is tossed out. You can lift his head.
There you go.
Okay.
The way he locks back in.
He's locked in. He's locked in.
He and I are involved in a delicate dance. My phone falls under his head and it's gone. And then he lifts up and I get it.
Thanks for holding him, Tiff. He always puts his head in Tiffany's lap, despite the fact that I'm his person.
And I'm the one that's like, please, I'm allergic.
I know. Oh, he heard that.
Oh.
Okay.
He'll be where he's going to be.
And so the point of that whole story was I just remember how it made me feel. This isn't even about her. On the pain of death, I will never say who this person was because
I don't even know who it was.
I still follow her. Because I'm fully I'm going to give you grace on that. I'm going to chalk that entire exchange up to you were going through it. You were an introvert. I don't know you well enough to know why that exchange happened. But I will say it taught me something really important. I hope I never, ever, ever make anyone feel that way. I never want to make anyone feel that way. If you're watching this and we met and I did make you feel that way, thank goodness I have the opportunity to say this to you. I'm so sorry if I've ever... What am I sorry for? I don't know. I don't know.
Lean in, homie.
Lean in. I'm going to lean into it. I hope I've never made anyone feel small or awkward or embarrassed. I'm sorry if I ever I have. I hope you know it wasn't intentional. So I'm gonna take this moment to say, with that same person, I'm gonna give her grace because I'm gonna choose to believe. I don't think that's who she is. And I think if she were to listen to this right now, she probably wouldn't even know that we had this exchange. I don't think she remembers meeting me because now she recently.
Have you seen her?
I like her stuff and she's responded to my comments and stuff before. I'm not even going to look. I don't know if she follows me back. I'm not going to look to see if she follows me back because I don't want to confirm or deny that because it would help narrow it down. And I know people be looking for people online. We're giving her grace, team. We're giving her grace. Oh, Bruce isn't though.
Buddy.
He said, I'm not giving her grace. I've got to go. So that's a huge fear that I have. After having experiences like that, I'm always like, God, what if I'm someone's story?
Yeah.
I try really hard not to be, but I also am going to leave room for the fact that I hope I have a long career. So maybe I'm going to have a bad day or not realize. I don't know.
Yeah.
I try to just give everyone grace.
I think that goes back to the larger conversation that people with platforms are at the end of the day people. And so it's very dangerous for us to put them in this place of they aren't allowed to have bad days because, they're this. No, you're allowed to have a bad day. That's why I respect Chaperone so much. I'm like, what? let them know you don't like it. And that's that. And I have like a back and forth with how I feel with younger celebrities coming out and like being firm in
Their
boundaries. Because on one hand, I'm like, yeah, be firm. And then on the other hand, I think, well, this is the world that you've gotten yourself into. But at the end of the day, I always come back to if I were in her position or in their position, I would fight for my boundaries too. And quite frankly, do you like me because I'm talented or do you like me because I'm being nice to you in public? And if you want to like me because I'm talented, the two don't have to be mutually exclusive, right?
Sure.
So it is a difficult conversation to have, especially thinking from like a PR and public standpoint. I'm like, what is the right thing to do? Like, how would I counsel someone? I guess at the end of the day, be kind, whatever that means for you.
Be kind on both ends. Now, I will say there's a difference, though, between someone with a pattern of behavior, and I've heard of them. I'll be out with somebody who's on the other side, who was maybe on a brand side, or they're on the side that you used to be on for a really long time, which is the people that work with talent, right? And they'll tell me stories, of sometimes, and I'm always listening, wanting to give them grace. And like, well, benefit of the doubt, maybe this is how this came off. But there's been a couple stories that I've heard that I'm like, there is no excuse.
Oh, no.
There's no excuse to yell at somebody who's like trying to do their job, who has made a mistake, right?
Berating people is bananas.
And in front of other people, doing things in which you want to humiliate someone, it's one thing if you accidentally embarrass someone. Oh man, I didn't realize that it wasn't okay to, I don't know. That happens.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you have a pattern of behavior that I heard about, it's so abhorrent to me and disappointing.
Very off-putting.
I really don't like that.
But is it the fame that's doing that?
Or is
it just the personality?
It's the person
only
who got
amplified
famous.
by the fame. That's like the saying that people aren't changed by money. You're just money only amplifies who you already are. And it's like just fame.
Who said that?
Where did I read this?
I feel like I heard that too, or you said it to me.
Because it was so profound. I say it often. I don't know where I heard it.
I remember when you first said it to me.
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, that's a good one.
It's not that money changes people. It's that you are only, your emotions and your feelings and how you treat people are only amplified by the money.
Yeah.
So I think of people like, am I allowed to say Jeff Bezos? I'm going to say it. Like Jeff Bezos, he's a case study for me because I'm like, what happened to you, Jeff? But was he always like this or did the billions change him?
You went home recently.
I did go home recently. So I was thinking about this earlier when you said it means so much when you're back home and people recognize you or come up to you and say kind things.
Yeah, that means everything.
I had not been back to my high school since I graduated. And normally that'd be like a normal thing. But I went to a school of the arts where our alumni program is deep. Like one of our alumni was recently Elphaba on Broadway. It was like her live stream and she did it. Talia, congratulations. We all cheered for you. Like you're fabulous. A lot of performers and entertainers. Darius Hickman, he's a dancer and he dances background for Beyoncé.
Go Darius.
And everyone in the freaking world. I graduated with him, just so many talented people.
Yeah.
And so I knew when I graduated, I would not come back unless I had something to show for myself, which probably was a toxic mindset to have in some capacities. In others,
I totally get that though.
Right? Like in other ways,
you will not see this face until I come back a star.
Basically, or unless I had money. I said either I'm famous or I have money. And then I changed it from fame to having done something that I'm proud of.
That you're proud of, period. Yeah.
So
that's a good goal.
This was the first time that I went back. And so I was a theater major at my school and my costume teacher is a life mentor for me, Miss Will. I love that woman down. And she saw something in me that very few people saw in me back then, which was that I could do anything that I wanted. And being a theater kid, we kind of like pigeonholed ourselves into either being a performer, being a tech person. You're going to move to New York. You're going to go have a career on Broadway. You're going to do all of that. And I remember coming to her and just being like, I don't want to do any of that, Miss Will. Like, what? But I want to maximize the experience of going to this school and meeting these people and having these skills. And she really instilled in me that I really could try and do and fail. So I love you, Miss Will. So she invited me back to come and speak to the costume class. And I saw her, ran up to her, was so emotional going on the campus. I ran up to her with my suitcases because I'm on the way to Miami. And she's so tiny. And I hugged her and squeezed her. And I started bawling on her shoulders. And I was like, I don't know why I'm crying, Miss Will.
Oh, I haven't heard this story
It
yet.
was so
This
sweet. I'm going to cry just talking about it. But it was, my high school experience was so formative because so much was happening in my personal life. School not the academic part, but the creative part of it really was a safe space for me. And so it was just this rush of emotion going back to this place where I could visualize, I could see myself like sitting on the stairs and finding out that I was going to be homeless. Like I sat there and didn't tell my friends, but like internalized it, and just all of those things, you know, big moments happen on that campus and with those people. So anyway, so Miss Will's costume room is stuff of legend. She's been teaching at Dreyfus for over 20 years. And so the room is lined with signatures of theater students who, when they graduate, you sign on the wall and then you go. Hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of signatures are in this room. Nothing has changed in 20 plus years. It looks exactly the same. So I walked in, and maybe I'll put pictures of this later. Anyway, I walk in and I see all the costume students, all the theater kids, and I'm like still crying because it's so emotional, but now I'm just misty-eyed. And I look around and I'm like, my God. And I only graduated 7 years ago, but how much life has changed since then. It's actually crazy. So it was this really special experience to sit and talk with, they were rising juniors and seniors, to sit and talk with the rising juniors and seniors who are on the cusp of their entire lives. Like it's been a while since I've been around high schoolers in that way. And I'm not famous by any means, but to be looked at as someone who you can aspire to be in some capacity was really like mind-boggling. And so I took the whole hour talking to the kids about my journey and, you know, how far I've come and where I started and how I didn't go to college and was the anti-theater kid, but then used the skills to do everything that I've done today and all of these things. And that was, I would say, the first true moment where I was really like, if this is what being famous feels like, I want this.
Yeah.
Not because they're looking at me like I'm God, which they weren't, but because I had something to say that would help people.
Yes.
And like my story meant something to so many people.
Yeah.
So it was so special. So thank you, Dreyfus, for helping make me into the woman that I am today. I mean, arts educations are so, so important, and that is a hill that I will die on. It changes people's lives. My life has changed from it. So yeah.
I feel like this is something that we've talked about before, and you've just worded it so beautifully. Yes. And that is ultimately how I feel top to bottom about the concept of fame, how subjective fame is, that somebody in my life might be like, I would say you're famous, and somebody who doesn't know me and doesn't know who I am go, well, you can't be that famous because I don't know who you are. Mm-hmm. In both regards, I think what I want to speak to on all of that is, if you're lucky enough to be known for what you do by anybody, to have a platform of any kind, whether it's 1,000 people or 1,000 whether it's 1,000 people or 1,000 people. I'm a dumbass. I can't compute numbers. Okay.
Whether it's 1,000 people or 1,000.
Whether.
Oh gosh. Okay. I'm here.
Some things are harder for me than others. Whether it's 1,000 people or 100,000 people.
That's what you were trying to say.
Yeah.
That's
At the end of the day, I have met people for the first time that have 30 to 40 million followers.
Yeah.
That's an
I keep saying.
You gotta stop the show. I've met people for the first time that have 30 to 40 million followers. And to me, that really is an inconceivable number. All right? It's like more followers. Sometimes I'll be like, I'm thinking to myself, you have more followers than the UN.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. Like you could put multiple European countries together and still not reach your following.
And that's crazy. Mm-hmm. And that's cool in one way, because that means that we have a way to access each other and access communities in ways we didn't have before.
Yeah.
It didn't exist before. And the reason why I'll say that this whole idea of fame at the end of the day is it's not a conversation I think is even really worth having sometimes, is because I can meet that person who has 30 to 40 million followers, and I don't know who you are. I've never seen you. And I often think, how have I never heard your name before and you have 40 million followers? Mm-hmm. Well, I know you now. Mm-hmm. The point is it's like, what are you going to do with it? How do you spend your time? How do you treat people? And what are your goals? And I think you and I both, earnestly and truly and sincerely, I hope that with whatever I do, even if beyond this moment in time, you know, I don't grow anymore in my following. I hope that I can look back and I've done something with my influence or with a platform that's worthwhile.
Have impact.
I hope that I've made people happy. I hope that I've amplified things that matter. I hope that I can look back and be able to quantify what I've done with my life.
Yeah.
And I think that's all that really matters at the end of the day. So I'm not really interested in how many followers you have or how many movies you've been in or whatever. I'm more interested in, that's the full circle moment.
Yeah.
What have you done with your life? And that is why people that we meet, certain people, mean a lot to us, because I'm excited to meet you, not because of the platform you have, but because of what you've done with it.
What you've done with it.
Oh my God, I got
we
the words
brought
out.
that home.
We brought that home. High five.
That was good.
Okay, so boom.
Okay, boom.
We can't get better than that on this episode today, so we're gonna have to call it here.
I fear that's it.
What's next week?
Yep.
What's our next week episode? I'm going our next week episode. We charming the people on the next week episode so we can chirp about it.
Shall we turn about it?
Chirp about it.
Next week, we're talking about all things womanhood.
Oh man, I could talk about that. Lock in, because it's gonna be a long episode, I'm sure.
It's gonna be a good one. I'm looking at the topic now. We're going.
I'm an expert on being a woman.
I'd say me too.
I know a lot about it.
Yeah, I know a thing or two.
I know a thing or two. Olivia, you can laugh. What are you laughing about? I got a lifetime of knowledge, my brother. Slaps up, my brothers.
My brothers.
She's the man. Great movie. Great moment. All right. Well,
do you have a drink to clink with?
I drank all my coffee. Well, since I have had a really hard time getting my words out on this week's episode, cheers to hypercalcium terminum.
Cheers.
Huzzah.
Huzzah. Yes, Travai Diva. See y'all next week.
And
make sure you're reading the book.
Are you reading the book? What's it called again? Quicksilver?
Quicksilver.
Read the book.
Catch
Quicksilver.
up.
This is your reminder. Who's it by?
Callie Hart.
Callie Hart, Quicksilver.
Remember, next week is your last week to read the book before our full book club episode. So make sure you're caught up. We've got prompts and highlights on the stories. We want you leaned in. We're excited. We're reading. We'll see you guys next week. And remember, we're your girls. I can't stand you.